poise in the second half that the game would come to us. But I thought we were so scattered in the first half, maybe emotionally more so than anything. Dallas came out and just punched us. You kind of know it's coming. Game 2 of a series, saw it last night. In Miami, like the team that loses game 1, especially by a big margin, this is how it works. They're going to come out and I thought Dallas was fantastic. They just they played harder, they executed better, and we were scattered. And so we just needed to get poised and get the game under control. And we felt confident that if we did that, they wouldn't make 15 threes in the second half. And I told them if they do, then you pat them on the back and say, nice job. If somebody makes 30 threes in a game, then they deserve to win. But that's hard to do, especially if you're solid defensively and staying in your principles and being physical and rebounding. Then the NBA game takes forever. It's just a long game.
Steve, 62 points in the paint tonight, and Kevon Looney was literally at the center of it all. What are your thoughts on the way he performed tonight?
Loon was just brilliant again. He's had a fantastic playoffs run. He's incredibly underrated by everybody. He switches onto guards and he rebounds. He sets screens. And in a series like this that's so spread out, he's able to score some buckets in the paint as well. So I thought Loon was just brilliant. I thought a lot of guys came in and really played well. Obviously, Steph got going. Jordan Poole's second half was fantastic. Otto played a great game, and Moses Moody came in and gave us huge minutes in that fourth quarter. So great team effort, but it was really all about getting things under control and getting more poised out there.
Steve, you guys, it seemed like you could get kind of what you wanted out of the paint if you just, like you said, had some poise. These guys, how tough is it to just be committed to going inside instead of taking the threes to get the crowd into it? And how much did you learn from the Memphis series about having that type of patience?
Well, the game is the game. Basketball is about, sharing the ball. It's put it on the floor and draw a defender and move it on. And that's what our team has been built on for a long time. And the second half, we were more organized offensively. We had better spacing. And when the ball started to move, we started to get much better shots. So got a lot, in the paint, and we got some threes as well. We made 14 of them tonight. So like I said, once we got settled down, it was an excellent offensive night for us.
With everything that, over here on this side, with everything that Looney's been through in his entire career, playing, and then he played all 82 games this season, what's it like to see him have a career best performance tonight in a game when you guys really needed him with Draymond Green running into foul trouble?
Very similar to Game 6 when he had a career night against Memphis. Loon is kind of everybody's favorite guy. He's so respected in the locker room. He's an incredible pro. Does his job every day. Comes in, whether we play him for 10 minutes or 32, his demeanor is the same. His work ethic is the same. He's an incredibly smart player, and he sort of gives us a lot of stability that we need. So Loon has been brilliant.
Steve, Doncic goes for 42, and there's a lot of Wiggins on him tonight again. Is it possible to say when a guy goes for 42 that your guy did a good job on defense on him?
Yeah, I mean, I said it after Game 1. I mean, you just, against someone that good, you're just trying to limit the easy stuff. And they did a better job tonight of attacking us in the high screen. They really, we were trying to show with Steph and Jordan, and they were really getting setting solid screens up there and freeing him up a little bit more. So it was a difficult cover, but Wiggs is staying, really determined and trying to stay with him as best he can. But obviously, Doncic is an amazing player, so it's a tough job.
Steve, getting back to Kevon, your guy's extended run goes back 8 years or so, and he didn't come in at the very start, somewhere in the middle there. How has his development allowed you to, how important has his development been to extending this window and having him join in with, the Draymonds and the Stephs and the Clays?
It's been massive. Our team has changed quite a bit since 3 years ago. We lost a lot of talent, a lot of veterans. So we needed Loon's leadership. We needed his size and strength inside. And we needed his knowledge, his wisdom. And I think, people may forget, but Loon was a big part of a couple of those championships. The last two, he played a lot of minutes. We trusted him to switch and guard James Harden, and when we played Houston in the series, in those series, and so he's always been a guy we could trust in the playoffs. And to have him now, I don't know where we'd be without him, frankly, because he's just a huge part of our team.
Hey, Steve. Earlier in Looney's career, when he dealt with some struggles and some injuries, did you see at that time his potential and that he could potentially turn into the player that he's turned into now?
Talking about Kevon?
Yeah.
When he was injured his first couple of years of his career? Mm-hmm. No. Didn't see it because he wasn't out there. He had 2 hip surgeries, and we didn't know what we had. And then that third year when we didn't pick up his option because we hadn't really seen him play, and then his third year he has a great year, and it's like, we might lose this guy. And fortunately, we got him back, and he's just gotten better and better.
Steve, back here. Luka and Steph, as great as they were tonight, the stars, how much, you mentioned Poole, and it seemed like that second unit, Poole, Porter, really didn't turn the game maybe, but kind of tilted it a bit in your favor. Going forward, how much, in some ways, will the series be decided by how that second unit plays the way it did tonight?
Every game is different, so you just don't know how things are going to pan out. But you need everybody. You get to this stage in the playoffs. You're playing great teams. If you want to win, you got to have multiple guys come in and play well. And whether it's starters or second unit, you just have to have a lot of guys perform well in order to win the game. So we'll see how Game 3 unfolds. But tonight, I thought Jordan, Otto, Moses in the fourth, I thought those guys were great. So our bench came through big time.
15 threes for them in the first half, 6 in the second half. Did you feel like you played it better, or they just missed?
I think that I always talk about the game. The game is connected. The better you play offensively, the defense becomes a little bit easier because your defense is set. You got some confidence. You got to bounce to your step. So I just think the game connected for us there in the second half. The better our offense got, the better the defense got.
And why did you decide to go to Moses? It kind of came a little bit out of nowhere.
Well, the size. He's got good size and strength. He's a very physical player. He's poised. You saw the play he made in the pocket where he surveyed and went to the rim and laid it in. Felt like a regular season game watching him do that. So Moses has a real calm about him. He doesn't seem like a 19-year-old rookie. He's had some great games for us this year, including one in Dallas where he was huge in a fourth quarter. So we've kind of had Moses in mind for this series, and it felt like the right time to play him.
Steve, you've mentioned the performances from a lot of guys who weren't part of this during, or weren't necessarily big parts of it, and some of them not at all during that 5-year run. We're used to seeing a comeback like this from your team, but not this construction of it, does it feel like there is some carry through that, despite the fact that there's a different supporting cast, that there is some sense of that same kind of confidence to have a comeback like this?
Yeah, for sure. But, you're talking about, Draymond, Clay, Steph, Loon. I mean, these guys are champions. They've seen everything. They've been through everything. And so our younger guys and our newer additions, guys like Wiggs and Otto, they may be feeling this for the first time. But our core, they've been doing this a long time, so they're not afraid of anything.
Steve, you mentioned in the pregame about the effect of the three-point shot and how it can turn a close game into a blowout. When you're down 19 and it's teetering, do you feel like you guys have a sense of the game having its own pace and not panicking and being able to sort of play at its own to when an opening presents itself, they'll be able to take it?
I thought we got to that point in the second half. I did not think we were patient in the first half. I think, they gave us such a shot. They came out and were physical and aggressive and knocked us on our heels, and I thought we were, again, kind of a little chaotic, a little scattered. So hopefully this is a game that we can, kind of put in our back pocket and remember, because there's a good chance, we're going to be in this situation again, whether it's in Dallas or, later on in the series, whenever. This is a team that is explosive, and you're dealing with one of the great players in the game who can create for himself and others. It's going to be a hard series, so we need to learn from this.
Coach, we've talked about the role players, but Steph Curry had 10 points in the fourth quarter, really took over towards the end there. When you have Luka Doncic on the other side, knowing that he can go off at any time, bring his team back, how nice is it having a superstar of your own, knowing that he can do what he did in the fourth quarter?
Well, there's a reason that our team has won championships, and we got players who are stars and players who are fearless and capable of playing and performing under pressure. So, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Loon. I mean, again, they've done this, and but Steph in particular. The guy's one of the great players of all time. So this is what the greats do.
Steve, kind of building off of that, your teams have now won 12 playoff games when trailing by at least 15 points. No other team since 2015 has won more than 6 of those types of games. Like, what specifically do you attribute to that? I mean, if you had to pinpoint something.
Just exactly what I said. The core group. It's at this stage in the playoffs, it's all about two-way basketball. You've got to be able to get stops and string together stops, and you got to be able to score. And we've had really good two-way teams here, and we've had guys who are capable of Steph, Clay, Draymond in particular, of having just massive performances when those types of performances are most needed.
Steve, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Steve, you've talked before about how much a series can shift when the venue changes, and it's sort of a reset in some ways. Given that, and given what you've said about how dangerous, obviously, the Mavericks are, how wary are you? How, as much as well as you guys played these 2 games, how much does it start over in some ways when you go to Dallas?
Well, we just witnessed, the last couple weeks what Dallas is capable of. They were down 2-0. To Phoenix and came back and won in 7. So we know what they're about. We have great respect for them. Great team, super well coached, and Dallas is a really tough environment. Great home court. So it's about to get tougher for sure.
You rally back, but you get within 2 to start the fourth. We know Steph's sitting. You know Steph's sitting. How much confidence do you have that Jordan Poole can take this? Like, is there still or is it like, okay, we really need to see it in this moment and see him deliver like he did?
I've got huge confidence in Jordan, and we've seen him do this, with allowing Steph to rest and still give us that offensive punch that we need, that shot creation. Jordan's really filled a role that has been tough to fill for us over the years. The Steph minutes when he sits traditionally have been really, really difficult for us. So Jordan has given us a different dynamic and really important one.
Steve, you talked about how you expect Dallas to pick it up when they go back home, but how would you grade your team as a road team so far and in the playoffs? And I don't know if you even started thinking about what you got to do in Dallas.
Yeah, well, we've won road games, in this postseason. We won in Denver, we won in Memphis, so we have a lot of confidence that we can go out on the road and win, but we're well aware how difficult it is. So we've got to be ready, we've got to execute and see what happens.
Steph said he throws crazy passes. That's what he does. But aside from the few he had tonight, what do you think of his decision making and how he attacked, and when he chose to take over the game?
Yeah, I thought Steph kind of smelled blood in the water those last 5 minutes, and he got to his spots. We had good spacing, and he got into the middle of the paint and he finished, and Clay made a great pass to him for a three that was kind of the clincher. So Steph did what Steph does, something like that.